I'm Rick Dancer. This is What's Happening Downtown Eugene. And what's happening in Downtown Eugene is we have our first queer bar in 10 years called the Wayward Lamb. And yes, I did say the word queer. This is John O'Malley, and he does work with marketing and events there for the Wayward Lamb. And thanks for being here.
Of course, thank you.
So we had a nice conversation beforehand because I wanted to get all the
words on the table.
Everything, so we know what we're talking about here. But I guess the first question for you, John, is why does Eugene need a queer bar?
I think why does it need is probably not the best question. It's something that we want. I've worked the past year with the queer community, and I noticed that there was a lack of activity, but a pretty sizable community here. When you factor in the local community, and then you also factor in all the students, all the grad students, all the teachers at UO, that Eugene and Lane County has quite a large population of LGBT identified individuals. But there was nothing. And so I eventually met Colin Graham, who's the owner. We started to talk about the need versus the want. And you know, Eugene's a funny place where it appears to be liberal, but we don't necessarily believe that it's 100% liberal. And there was a real desire, a real want from us to create a space that was for the community. There hadn't been one in 10 years. The last one was Neighbors in 2006. And so we started to have this conversation with a lot of people, and we noticed kind of the same thing. A lot of people wanted a space. So I don't necessarily think need is
it's really
the right
it's
word.
A business model, and
Yeah.
you're looking at people and saying, we have a gay community and a queer community out here.
Yeah.
And they have no place to go and feel comfortable. And I think that's the thing people might not understand is,
Yeah.
you know, as heterosexuals, we can go anywhere and feel comfortable because most everything out there is more targeted for that group of folks.
Yeah.
And so, but you don't. This is not like your typical. Can I say typical gay bar? This is.
I think it's. We're not very precious about it all. So
thank you, because it's so nice to just be able to talk. You know what I mean? Sometimes you feel like you're on eggshells. But
yeah, there's a lot of policing, and there's a lot of what can you say and what you can't say.
And part of what you're doing with this is really educating all of us to the need, the desire, and also the ability that as heterosexuals, I can go to your bar and feel perfectly comfortable and maybe learn some things.
Yeah, because for the most part, I go to your bars and you make me feel great. It's just on the occasion where I don't feel safe, or my partner doesn't feel safe, or someone in the trans community doesn't feel safe. These are all these little moments that happen over time that build up and cause a stir with the community. So a space that honors and dedicates itself to that community, people can go and feel safe. And I've always said this, but it's about leveling the playing field. It's not about segregating or exclusion or anything. It's just about leveling the playing field and having at least one space that feels safe. Because Lord knows we have a million breweries, a million sports bars. So it's funny to me when people say, is there a need for a space? And I'm like, well, is there a need for 17 sports bars? Right. Is there a need for 15 breweries? You know, I think, you know, at the end of the day, it's a business. It's not a community center. It's a de facto community center because there isn't one. But is there a need? Maybe not, but there's certainly a desire and a want to have one.
Right. And when Colin was talking earlier, he said, what you guys plan for the inside of this is if Sean Connery were going to make a gay bar, what would it look like? I love that. That's
Yeah, we wanted, I mean, one of the things that Colin was awesome about was really kind of going against the grain of what people expect a queer space to look like. You know,
because Eugene probably wouldn't go to that.
No, well, I think Eugene did go to that. They used to have these bars, but we like this idea of playing against that because that model has existed and it's actually not successful for the most part unless you live in a huge city that can support it, like New York or Chicago or LA. But for a town like Eugene, where it is relatively small in comparison, we really had to focus on what that space was and how could that space appeal to the largest demographic, at least within the queer community. And something that we noticed was, well, a lot of times when they build these bars, they build them for like a 21 to 35 age bracket, because that's when people are going out and they're drinking and they're having fun. But we noticed that there's a really broad, diverse community here, and it's not just gay men, it's everything. It's lesbians, transgendered, the full spectrum. And a lot of them are like people that retire here, people that are in the later part of their careers and they're settled because Eugene's a beautiful place. And they just want a space where they can go out and have a drink and feel great because they know it's a dedicated space. And that's also a great business model just for the support of a bar is not just gearing it entirely for a 21-year-old because that 21-year-old is going to graduate from UO and leave.
Right.
So
unless
that's something that's unique about
hip
Eugene.
Downtown Eugene is becoming, and then they're going to want to stay.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I think certainly if you look into the tech sector, and Colin spent many years at Skype and has a very great knowledge of the tech community and knows how much it's changing here and what the influx is. And also with that means more queer tech people because there's also another community that people work in. If you think about how tech can be remote, how people can work from their homes, a lot of people that are in the trans community might not necessarily be able to work in an environment that's like a public corporate office because they face discrimination or getting outed at work. And so being able to work from home and work on your computer, that's actually a desirable career field for many members in the community.
So give us your location. We got to wrap up your location, where you are, hours, that kind of thing.
Yep, we're located at 150 West Broadway between Charlton and Olive. We got big, beautiful open windows, so you can't miss us. And we're open Monday through Sunday. Monday through Saturday, we're open from 11:30 to 2:30 a.m. and Sunday.
Food.
We got great food. We have a menu that we've helped design and create that we serve lunch, dinner, late night snacks. We have a great bar menu that actually honors the queer history of Eugene through specialty cocktails, which is really fun. So if you want to learn a little history lesson, you can come have a cocktail.
Well, thanks for broadening our horizons and also the business in downtown Eugene. And thanks for our conversation. It's been nice to know that I can have this conversation.
Of course you can.
It's good to see you, John. Thanks for
having
us. Yeah, you're welcome.